Suhair from India.
Sheikh, I have a question. I saw a video by a sheikh which said physical barrier is not necessary for a gathering to be classified as segregated, as long as men and women are sitting separately. So my question is, can we attend a public dinner or in a restaurant or a public gathering where we are with our extended family members, that is including non-mahrams, and we are seated separately, and it's a big table, and men are at one side, females are at the other side, and there is no communication between the two, and no looks exchange or anything whatsoever. And if this is permissible, does the ruling change if women are wearing the proper hijab or if they're not wearing the proper hijab? Jazakallah khair.
Wajazakum. Now, see, when people try to water down sins, this is what leads to free mixing. So, in the beginning, people were segregated. Men sat with men, exchange food and talk and gatherings without any problem. And women did the same. Now, why have we ended up in a situation where I have my wife and you get your wife and daughters and we go out for a picnic or for a gathering, or we sit together and we eat and mix? Why do we have the concept of joint family, where brothers and sisters-in-law sit together and communicate and look at one another and laugh and crack jokes? And unfortunately, in some such joint families, catastrophes take place, especially if the brother is overseas working and his wife is in that home lonely for 5-6 months or a year or 2 or 3, and you put fire next to the fuel and say, Ya Allah, I hope it doesn't ignite and blow up. It will blow up in your face, inevitably, unfortunately. So what you're talking about is men on one table, women are on one table, they don't communicate with one another. Sounds okay, people say. There's segregated. Now you say, okay, what if they're not abiding by the proper hijab? Well, if they're not looking at one another, it's like sitting in a normal restaurant. It seems okay. So what is it a little bit close and I can hear them talk and I can engage in their conversations and their laughter, and especially when women crack jokes among one another and they laugh in a nice, beautiful, feminist voice, and the men also crack jokes and they laugh in their masculine voices, and there's something in the air. What's cooking? So it is how shaitan works. Do not follow the steps of shaitan. He doesn't come all of a sudden. This is how people water down sins. So, akhi, the best is what Sharia came with. The best of men's rows in the masjid are the first. The worst of men's rows in the masjids are the last. The worst of women's rows in the masjid are the first, because they're closer to the men. And the best of women's rows in the masjid are the last. This is what Sharia came with, and this is the best that we should abide by.